Let's rewrite parts of the road to El Dorado. First of all, we are in an ambiguous kingdom and an ambiguous time period. We can take some of the Disney elements and have Spanish influences here, but setting the story as a hardline place and time period doesn't really serve the story. But other than that, we are absolutely going to keep our absolutely stellar opening that introduces El Dorado to the audience, and then we'll introduce these two gamblers, Tulio and Miguel, in the middle of a game of dice in the streets. They end up winning a map that leads them to the mythical city of El Dorado before being outed as cheaters. They make their escape and they still end up in the barrels on the docks, but these barrels are loaded onto a pirate ship on the pier instead of a colonizer ship. We're nixing that slide plot altogether. Eventually, the pair are discovered and they're frisked. The captain of the ship is going to confiscate their gold and the map from Miguel, and then they're thrown in the brig, where Tulio will come up with a plan to escape, and Miguel will commandeer the stolen horse that's on board with an apple, just like in the original film. The two escape the brig by nightfall, and while Tulio is gathering needed supplies, Miguel goes to the captain's quarters to reclaim the map, and he also ends up stealing a golden decoder that's placed near the map. This is presumably stolen treasure from the captain, and he thinks, well, it's gold, so why not take it? The events of escaping unfold like they do in the original movie, where the two end up saving the horse from drowning, they're rowing aimlessly in the ocean, and eventually they land on the shores of an island where Miguel realizes that the map that he has matches all the landmarks and they see all of that around them, and so Miguel will then convince Tulio to follow the trail to find El Dorado. And of course we're keeping the Trail We Blaze scene because it's absolutely perfect. Once the two reach the end of the map where they can't make out anything other than that great rock in the water, we're still going to meet Chell, who's running from El Dorado and the temple guards. However, instead of carrying that weird golden head, she's carrying a bunch of scripts and papers. She's startled by Tulio and Miguel, and this leads to her tripping, and the scripts fly out of her hands and into the water, where they will immediately disintegrate into golden dust. And this is a nod to the original Legend of El Dorado, where it's about a king who would cover himself in gold dust, and that would wash away in the sacred lake. The three are captured and brought back to El Dorado, where the high priest and Zekel Khan decree that Tulio and Miguel are the gods that were foretold to return. The priest tries to demand that they sacrifice Chell because of her insolence, but Tulio and Miguel manage to stop that, and she pretends that she just wants to be of service to the gods. Everyone buys her story, and Tulio and Miguel are shown to their rooms, but where they accidentally end up revealing that they're not actually gods, and unfortunately Chell is listening. Chell decides that she's going to strike a deal. She reveals that the scripts that she was carrying were scripts that Zekel Khan was hiding from the people that speak of the love and the kindness of the gods, and she decoded it from the ancient text and planned to bring them to the chief as evidence that the high priest is out here wildin'. But she was discovered by the temple guard, and she had to make a run for it instead. She tells Tulio and Miguel that if they create a distraction to keep the high priest and his guards out of the temple long enough for her to raid the temple to find more evidence, she'll teach them what they need to know about being fake gods, and all parties agree. That night during the feast, Tulio and Miguel keep everyone entertained with a longer version of It's Tough to Be a God, while Chell manages to steal more of the scripts and a new decoder. She brings them back to Tulio and Miguel, and she and Tulio team up over the next few days to decode the ancient writings and prove that the high priest is just being cruel for his own reasons and not because the gods decreed it. Most of the movie would progress the same from here. We would